go ahead and get started. I know it's 5:37, and we'll get some of the department heads coming in inside as well. But welcome to our first of many town hall meetings that we're going to have and host here in Michigan City. And it's called Let's Talk Solutions. And the reason for that is this year we need to spend a little bit more time listening to a lot of listening actually to all of your concerns, not a lot of, but all. And the importance of that is we're going through a trying time, not only here locally, but at the state level, national level, where there's going to be a lot of different things that are impacted. I got down here a little bit later than I wanted to. They just heard House Bill 1448. I had to leave yesterday. They held it over, and that's the bill that impacts the riverboat funds that we were not allocated. Well, the bill went through the House, and we'll be moving on to the Senate to allow us to start getting our money. So, been working through that. Spent time with mayors this morning in Indianapolis, and our concerns about Senate Bill 1, House Bill 1402. There are a lot of bills that will impact local government negatively, and it's important for not only myself but also the citizens to understand, what the impact will be to all of us as we move forward. So I will try to provide updates as I can on all the things that are happening. I know that everything is going out of committee this week. Next week they're finalizing everything. Then they'll be on break for about a week, and then back in March they'll come back and they'll do it all over again. So I will keep you all posted on that. I want to talk a little bit about how this is going to be formatted. I know we have some flyers that have all the dates listed for the rest of the year. Please take one of those so that we can make sure that you have those. But what we really want to do is that if you have a card and we don't get to your questions, what's going to happen for transparency's sake, every single question that is provided on a card, we're going to put it into a document and share it publicly so that as we get the answers, we'll publish them. So you won't have to just be here to get the answers. But if there's a question that you have, as long as you're not targeting or being facetious about a particular person, we will post that question. We will post the question, we will answer it, we will publish it and post it, send it out to you. If you want information or updates on anything, you will receive them. Okay? That's the goal of these town halls, not just to come and vent, but to get answers too. And I think that's something that we haven't done. We'll get complaints and we'll do onesie twosies, but nobody knows what the end result was. So with these questions, we won't say who gave the question. We won't share your name. So just know that it's going to be my office that collects it. And if it's something bad about a department, hey, it's fair game. It's fair game because it's about growing, about fixing things. I'm not going to take it personal. I'm really not, because it's about us being better for the citizens, being better for businesses, and making sure that we do what we need to do as a city. So I wanted to share that because that's kind of how this is going to go. You got questions, we'll get to some. The ones we don't, we are going to draft all of the questions that we can read and put it in a document and make sure you have access to them. That's the goal. The other thing is I want the community to know who the department heads are. I want you to understand what their role and their function is. Today I was looking at, some Facebook posts. It's like, my street hasn't been whatever. Never heard that because I never got a phone call. Understand social media is what it is. It's social media. If you want to get something done, you really need to call. You really need 873-1400. That's what you call. For the mayor's office, hit 9 because I think previous administrations didn't want you to get to the mayor's office. So we're the last number. We're the last number that you hit, number 9. And we'll answer. We will answer. Every now and again, I'll answer phones. If they want to go on break, I have no problem answering the phones. I sit at the desk sometimes. So, it's just, it's a new beginning. So I'm hoping, I'm having all the department heads, because I do want to introduce our departments so that you have an opportunity to talk to them afterwards as well. I think it's important that they're part of the community. We do have some changes that are being made in our planning department. And the planning department is going through a drastic transformation, actually, which is taking us a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but nonetheless, is happening. So, with that being said, if the department has just come down here for a minute, you don't have to stay, but I am going to introduce you some of the staff members so that I can just run along the front, all over the place. But can I have the city council members stand? City council members that are here stand. We have Councilman Tim Beatrice, Councilman Don Privilinski, City Councilwoman Tracy Tillman. I'm here in the audience. 5th Ward, Councilman at Large, 4th Ward, that are here as well. So I would like to thank them for being here as well. I think it's important that you get to know the different departments that support city services and the goal and what we're trying to do. One of the biggest things that I've shared with them for the last year, and even with some of the training that we've done, is really been focused on customer service. We had customer service training. I know they didn't want to go to customer service training, but it was important to me. It was important to me that they understand what's important to me when they represent Michigan City is that they provide good customer service. If someone is saying something crazy, I want you to let me know. I will say this. I've been trying to clean up my language as well. My language has been very interesting with the team for the last 2 months, I would say. So I just want to say that. But I appreciate our team. We work hard. We may not get it right. It's not about being right. It's about doing what's right and trying to be better. Police department. All right, I got Chief Corley, Chief Cooney, Assistant Chief Cooney. I have Forker. They're out of order. Sorry. All right. Our superintendent of the cemetery, Jeff Lineski. Our fire department assistant chief, Shannon Borders, Chief Taylor, Barrett Taylor. We have our director over our transit, Robin Tillman. Our forester, Mike Wolf. Brett Kelly, our director of Vector. We start over here. Our street department, Sean Smith. We have Daryl Garbacek, who's over our central maintenance and services. We have Amber LePage, our chief legal counsel. Will Smith, Will Smith. Will Smith, right. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. All right. So we have Will Walker, our assistant superintendent of parks. We have Park and Rec. Shannon, man, I'm getting this off. Eason. She is our superintendent of Parks and Rec. All right, we have Christine Vandenberg. She is our manager of code enforcement and also over our compliance job, our hiring ordinance and responsible bidder ordinance. We have Chris Johnson over our water department. Raise your hand, Chris. Water department. We have Chris Carter, refuse. Y'all been giving us the blues on garbage, boy. Chris Carter. And we have Jessica. Okay, I'm gonna get the last name. Huh? Ward. I had to make sure. I know I'm getting there. Jessica Ward, airport. We have Sylvia. Which last name? Martin. That's our assistant planner. We have Eric Williams. I know, I'm trying to get there, y'all. It's been a long day. I drove back from Indy. Our events. We have Andy. IT Andy is what I call him. He is like everybody's everything. Handles IT and facilities. Kelly, you all have talked to Kelly. Kelly's in our office, Kelly Smith. Who's hired back there?
Roxanne.
We got okay. We got Roxanne, last name DeRoff, and she's our assistant superintendent of cemetery. Give me I'm sitting here drawing a blank.
Denise Osis.
Denise Osis is also with our cemetery. And then Sue, I'm looking at everybody. We got Sue, who's in our building inspection department. I see Isabel. I see Pat Volts Parks. I see Charlie. I see another city council person, Daisy Lee from the 2nd Ward. I see Adam. I see Nancy Molinauer out there, and then our EDC. And then last but not least, I got a couple more council people, Greg Coulter, Brian Dabney, and then our clerks. We have Amanda, and we have our clerk, our clerk. I know, Amanda, I see you. Our clerk, Gail Nyla. And then also, let's see if I'm missing any. Our EDC folks, and then I see some of our code enforcement people as well. And I see them. So, again, we are all here to answer any questions. If you have any concerns, we're going to take the time to do that. I'm hoping you are filling out your forms. You guys don't have to stay here. You don't have to stay here. Oh, Keela, where's Keela? Oh, she's in the red. Keela Ward is our Director of Education and Workforce. So again, thank all of you for being here. They'll be around afterwards to answer any questions. So I will say, Kelly, if you could stick, where did Kelly go? Stick around. If you have any questions that you would like to submit, we will do that. I'll provide you a couple more updates as we start collecting any questions. I would just say, hand them down to the end. Like I said, we'll collect them. We'll try to answer some of them. Don't go far, y'all, because you may be called up here. But a couple of other things that a key date that I want you to put in your books. We are going to have our State of the City on March 4th at Elston Auditorium, like we did last year, to provide an update on the state of the city and where we're at and where we're going. So we would love to have you there at Elston Auditorium. I think it's at 9 o'clock.
Yep, doors open at 8:30. Starts at 9, which will be wrapped up by 10.
Okay, it'll be about an hour long, just to provide you an update of where the city is and where we hope to go. So that will be March 4th. And then from there, we'll see how the second half of the session goes, and I'll continue to provide updates that way. I try to come to the council meetings at least once a month to provide updates each month at the council meetings as well. So I think it's important that people hear from me. I think it's been interesting. I had people tell me, well, you're not accessible. And I'm like, I see people at Walmart, CVS, everywhere. I try to be everywhere, but I do need some me time sometimes. But I try to be. That's why we're doing these town hall meetings, to make sure that you have access, and that if you want to talk, I'm here to answer any questions. So I don't have any questions yet. Anybody have any questions that you would like to turn in right now before we continue? Y'all gonna make this that simple for me? You gonna start grabbing them? Kelly, if you could check back there. Yes, if we grab some more forms, and you can have mine. I'll get it back from you. One of the other things that I would like to encourage, we do have forms out there for boards and commissions. If you would like to be on a board or commission, we are looking for new people to participate. I know that in previous years, what has really occurred is you have the same people on 3, 4, 5 boards. And the goal is to have as many residents participating on the boards versus a few good people. right? I think we have a lot of good people. So please, I highly encourage you. Don't have to have any experience. People think you have to have all this experience to be on boards and commissions. You don't. You just got to be willing to listen and willing to learn. If you need a form or a card to fill out, just raise your hand. She'll bring some over, and I'll take that. All right, we got a couple. I mixed them up so nobody won't know who they were, but I know how people get. The first one is timelines for power plant changes and prison changes. Well, this one is an easier one. I am going to be forming a committee for the NIPSCO site. I have some folks in mind for that. On that form that you received, though, it asks if you're interested in any of the following task force, and I'll talk a little bit about that. But the power plant, I don't have any updated timelines for the power plant. We have a meeting in a few weeks. Some of us, our team is meeting with NIPSCO to discuss the power plant and what that looks like and what that means. I think that you've seen some headlines with the county, but they have not had a conversation with us about any of those things. I have my own ideas. I also have some ideas on ways for them to offset the taxes that we may lose with the closure around some projects that we could possibly do into the future. And so that's kind of where we're at, but nothing to really update probably until the next town hall meeting. So that's kind of where we're at with NIPSCO. As far as the prison, very preliminary. I know we just had our first public meeting. I am going to ask them to do an additional meeting, possibly with the neighborhood residents. I think that the meeting that we had was great. I think the weather was nasty, it was dark, and I think there are a lot of older residents, maybe a little bit more seasoned residents that didn't want to come out at that time, that maybe we could do something a little bit more smaller for the actual residents on the west side. And then there's another public meeting later in the year, but that committee has been meeting, looking at other prisons that have closed and been repurposed. We don't own that land. I will say this, that a lot of people are like, oh, you're taking on this tax burden, you're going to spend all this money to clean it up. Michigan City has not signed anything to take that over and pay for anything. That is definitely not the intention. When Governor Holcomb, when we started meeting and talking about the future of Michigan City, he just wanted us to have a say in what happens to that property. And I think we should have a say. I don't want some highfalutin developer to come in doing what they want or putting what they want on the land without input from the residents. So that's kind of where we're at. We have been meeting with the state. We have a new group of folks that we had our first meeting a couple of weeks ago. So we're starting a monthly meeting with the Department of Corrections, our team internally with the city. We're looking at getting the specifications on the site, getting some of the environmentals, doing a tour, those kind of things. So that timeline for us really is about what can be reimagined from the committee, but then internally, really, what is the lay of the land? What do we have inside those walls? So that's kind of where we're at with NIPSCO and the prison. Thank you. This is really about trash. I'm not gonna. We're gonna get a lot of those. So let me give some background on the trash and the recycle bins. I know that Councilman Don Privilinski and I have been talking with the county on the recycle piece of it. I think this year, I know the first bill, we just started putting some something in the bills for the water bills. You're going to start seeing that more often, and it's really about trash and compost. But Historically, and I'll say it tenderly, historically, we just picked up everything. And when I say that, we would put anything in those garbage trucks and tear these garbage trucks. The garbage trucks have been beat up so bad because there's really certain things you shouldn't be putting in garbage trucks. And we would just put dressers, you name it, and it would just crush it. And then when they go down, those trucks are $500,000. I mean, they cost $350,000, $400,000, and we're just beating up the trucks. Now, let me say this, because everybody's like, well, trash is not getting picked up since you've been in office. Well, they've been tearing them up for 10 years before I got here, right? So now I got to right the ship and make sure that we have a capital improvement plan to replace these trucks. So now, where are we going to get that money from? We don't charge any additional fees for trash pickup. We are one of the only communities in the region that does not charge a monthly fee for trash. Period. The only one. Even Gary pays. They pay $24 a month. We don't charge anything. So with that being said, last year, and this is a statistic, the majority of our workman's comp claims came from the refuse department. Almost to the tune of $1 million. So we're beating up not only our vehicles and our trucks, we're beating up our people. So anytime you have 10 people off on one day and there's only 22 people in the department, what do y'all expect to happen, right? So we have been looking at some different ways. We're working with the sanitary district. We figured out a way to have backup drivers from the sanitary district that could support us when somebody's off. We're continually hiring. We increased the wages for the CDL drivers, for the garbage truck drivers. We're looking at, we purchased a couple of trucks that won't be delivered until August. We purchased one with ARPA money in December. So we're doing all those things, but it's going to take time. I've never seen people put out so much trash and dump so much on the curb. Soon as they start talking fees, everybody puts stuff out. And I've never seen so many couches, mattresses, boxes, all of those things on the ground. Well, in your mail, in your water bills, and there's some flyers somewhere out there, there are rules that we have not been following. And now we need to follow them. I can't continue to have people off work, going to the hospital, being on workman's comp because they're picking up garbage cans with concrete in them or building materials in them. And the expectation is that we're going to pick them up. So now we just had a meeting, and I'm meeting with all of our team. We sat down this week and I said, listen, for the next couple of weeks, I need you to write warnings, citations, write them. I've given them all the authority to write them. Vector, the Forester, Street, who else did we talk to? I think that's all of them, and Refuse. I said, write warnings to let people know so that they will start looking at the ordinances and understanding, what the rules are. We can't just go out and start fining people. I don't think that's the right thing to do. I think we need to spend this time to educate people before it gets warm. Before, it really gets bad, right? So we need to educate the public. So the next couple of water bills, you'll start seeing material in there about compost, about special pickups, about, putting your garbage in your toter, not leaving it on the side of the toter. We're creating warning stickers to put on top of the garbage cans to make sure that we're picking it up this time, but you got building materials in here. We have to educate people because we've created bad habits and we've allowed the bad habits to go on forever. So we're going to spend this time for the next few months doing this with the community before we start charging anybody or fining them. Now, when it comes to illegal dumping, we're going to trespass you and fine you and cite you. We have cameras up at some of our locations. We did not move forward with some of those things because we just wanted to pick up the trash. But we are really working hard to figure that out. Been meeting with our attorneys to find out what's the best way to do it. But we know we want a clean city this year. And we're looking at a reward program for anybody who reports illegal dumping. And, that's the goal of ours. You see somebody dumping, take pictures, take video, and you will be rewarded because we want a clean city. I think that's what we deserve. So, thank you.
Here, what would be an example of illegal dumping?
Illegal dumping, like Hitchcock. So we're looking at opportunities to do like a dumpster program in different places, but like people will, back into that place and a lot of times people from out of town just dump a whole truckload of stuff out on the curb. I mean, any and everything. They want even though we have some dumpsters out there, just back in and just dump everything on the ground. If you see somebody along a right of way, like I remember, is that Warnke? Some couches were just dumped out there on the ground. They find little pockets everywhere and they just dump. And I need the public to help us resolve that because we can call the police department. I met with the police department specifically about this week because I'm like, we need to make sure we trespass them and cite them. Because until we start making it hurt their pockets, they're not going to stop. I mean, that's kind of where we're at. All right, let's see what else we got. Code enforcement on Tryon and Carwood continues to accumulate trash. Yep, I agree. So we have a couple of properties that are habitual that we're working on. One in particular, and I won't say which one, but one in particular, there's a family death that kind of stopped where we were going. So now there's a process for abatement. And so when you talk with code enforcement, Vector, mostly, or refuse, there is an abatement process. And so it's not as easy as what you think that for us to clean it up. And the cost. So there is one property it would probably cost us a couple of $1,000s to abate it. And that's a cost that you pay for, your tax dollars pay for. So when we see these things and we go through the abatement process, what you'll find is they're habitual. And a lot of times it's not just, some of it is, there might be some family things that are occurring. There is, just like with homelessness, there might be some mental health things that are happening. But again, we have two in particular that we're working on right now, and looking at how we move forward to abate them. But there is a process. We can cite, and we can do all those things and nothing will happen. Because it takes time. It has to go through the courts sometime. You have to wait 10 days. Then you go to the next step. Then you go to the next step. And we're trying to find the quickest way to do these abatements. We're trying to remove some of that. I'm trying to remove some of the days that it takes. I just want to go pick the stuff up. I don't want to wait 5 days. I don't want to wait 10 days. If I feel like it's an emergency or a hazard, I want to pick it up the same day. But right now, the way our ordinances read, we have to give notice. So when people see things, they think, well, you're just not picking it up. There's a process, and we're trying to shorten the number of days for that. So, yep, junkyards. Another one on junkyards.
Mayor,
Yes.
so on these properties, is it the family that's allowing this, or people just know this is a place they can dump?
I think it's both. So I think some of them are families, but a lot of times, and this is what I told the team this week, if you see something that, a pile, just pick it up. Give them a warning, pick it up. Because what I'm finding, a lot of times someone will put a few things on the curb, then somebody will drive up and add to the pile. That's common. So the sooner we pick it up, the better, right? Because it won't allow, I said, if you see something on the curb, give them a warning, pick it up so that it doesn't accumulate other people dropping stuff off. Because I think people do that. I think they drive by, especially in our alleyways. People are just dropping stuff off. And they feel like they can because, well, Michigan City's not going to give us a citation or they're not going to fine us. Well, I'm here to tell you, we're giving warnings now. But our goal is really to crack down on people who are doing, putting all the garbage out. So those are the next steps. This one is, I have seen communities use tiny homes for homeless. Utah, Colorado. I'll add Florida. I visited one. I think it would be a good idea, perhaps model them and deal with homelessness and mental illness as compassionate, in a compassionate way. What I would say, homelessness right now is a big deal. I have an officer and our social worker, and I have Kelly going to a conference next week. Is it next week? Well, a week and a half. I guess one of the biggest things, my daughter, we talk about this all the time. So she's a social worker, and she's always had a heart for the homeless since she was a little kid. And so she worked at a day center in Florida while she was in grad school. We need a low threshold place for homeless people to go and build a community. And what I mean by that, I'm not gonna point fingers, but I don't feel like people who are homeless are given any sense of dignity for the situation that they're in. I need people trained to understand how to be compassionate and build a relationship with them so that they feel comfortable getting help. And what people don't understand is that when people are homeless or in a situation, whether it's a situational situation or mental health, is that they have to trust you first. And pointing at them and giving them rules and doing all this stuff to them is not the way you're going to build trust with someone who's homeless or experiencing or having an episode. I know a couple of years ago, we started our crisis intervention team training with the police department. I've been participating with that for a few years now, and I think it's important that we have a place for them to watch TV, play games, have people there in plain clothes that interact with them that aren't the police, that don't appear to be a social worker, but just there to listen, and for them to have a comfortable place to build community. Now, that takes money. We do have opioid money that we have not spent much of anything of yet. And so we're looking at, are there some possibilities for us to do something? Because I'd rather have, them in a place where they feel comfortable, can read the paper, can read books, do whatever they need to do. Versus walking up and down the street. And when I say low threshold, I'm talking about having people in there, counselors in there that deal with drug addiction and deal with those types of things. I'm not going to turn them away because they're high or that they're drunk. And I think until we get to that place where we deal with those things, we're always going to have a homeless situation because I can't go there. They kicked me out because I cussed somebody out. Well, they were having a bad day that day. And when you're homeless, maybe you might have a bad day and you cuss somebody out because they made you feel less than. So we are really looking at some options. Tiny homes, that's something totally different. I don't think we're there yet, but I do think the first step is figuring out alternative solution for the daily homeless population for now. So we're looking at some things. I have Officer Kane, Kelly, and our social worker, Jocelyn, going to a conference to bring some more information back for that, because I think that's important for our community. Because no matter what people say, they're coming to Michigan City. They can say that, other communities can say they're not dropping them off here, but I beg to differ. So I think they feel like they can get help here. So we need to step it up and figure out how we're going to solve that problem. So that's the first step. We're going to look for some solutions. I think I have on the form, so since I said that, I am looking to create our own task force. I know that there's the home team. The home team is it's a group of all these different organizations that provide services to the homeless, population. I need solutions for Michigan City, and I need local people who live here to help with that solution. It's what it is. That's just my opinion. But if you're interested, fill out that form. But I am looking for good people who really want to solve the problem to participate on the task force so that we could use some of the opioid money possibly to do some things. So thank you for that question. Okay. This one this is about toters and when people aren't home to bring in their toters.
That's my question.
Okay, I'm going to give that one directly to refuse. Okay, so I'll give that to refuse and make sure we take care of that. I will, when I meet with NIPSCO, I will get the status of the coal ash abatement. And we'll Department of Education shut down Michigan City area schools food program. That I don't know. I know that, please go out to the state of Indiana to the iga.in.gov. All the House bills and Senate bills are out there. I feel like local municipalities and school systems, public schools are under attack right now. Please go out there and look at those bills that have gone through committee. A lot of them impact the schools negatively. They impact the cities. Today, in our meeting today, one of the financial advisors, as we were talking through House Bill 1402 and the impact it could have on Michigan City, we're talking $12 million annually. Lost revenue. So I'm like, for someone to have property tax relief of maybe $8 to $100, it's going to impact us $12.2 million. And so I think it's going to be up to us as mayors to really pull those numbers together and create a message around, are you really getting property tax relief? Because really what's going to happen is that they're going to put it on the cities to increase local income taxes. They want the city to impose all the taxes. And then here we go. So we're talking over $12 million impact to Michigan City if it passes as it is. So, but school system, I know Dr. Wendell McCollum this morning talked about some of the amendments that made the bill, some of the bills better. So our bill went from disastrous to just bad. So they're still bad. So hopefully they'll get better. Garbage items left on curb, is there a charge? Franklin Street, South Franklin, all over the place actually. There will be fees. There are fees that have been passed last year on pickups, special pickups. We have not been consistent in years past on special pickups and the cost for special pickups. So one of the things that I've asked our refuse department, we have a scale. I said, listen, we're going to have to start charging. We picked up, what was that, a week or so two ago, tree that was cut. 10 tons. 10 tons at $40-something a ton, plus the gas, plus the manpower to pick it up. It's told that you need to get it taken away. But now it's a hazard because it's in the street. So we had to go pick it up, right? So those are some of the examples that I'm talking about. You know, other cities, and we're not, I would never do this. Other cities, they'll put you on blast and start taking pictures and putting it all on social media. Look at this, you know, would never do that. But all I'm saying is that's unacceptable. And even when we tell someone, they say, well, you're not going to do anything. You're just going to put a lien on the property and, you know. So we're really working with our legal department to figure out what ways can we do to stop some of this stuff that's happening. But 10 tons of tree, you know, and we still had to pick it up, take it, haul it, and do all of that. You know, we are going to charge him though, but I'm just saying. Yeah. Here's a good one. Why is transit using old equipment and dated routes? From the high school stop to Walmart is a ride to the library, then another bus route to Walmart. Transit. So transit is really funded. It's subsidized. A lot of communities our size don't have transit. They don't have transportation. Robin does a great job of getting grants and getting funded. We utilize funds through NERC, a lot of federal funds. So again, it's not money really coming out of taxpayer dollars, but it's subsidized that way. We are looking at ways of becoming more efficient. You know, once the train station is built, we may think about a hub somewhere else away from the library. I don't know. But those are things that we're still evaluating. Our ridership isn't high, but again, people rely on it from the east and west sides to get to the south end of town, to go to the doctor, and to get to the grocery store. So, yes, antiquated. Yes, I would like some type of on-demand system that's more efficient, but that will take time and take money to do that. But that I think we get 50%. 50% of their department is subsidized for transit. So that's not coming from city dollars. We get reimbursed 50% for transit. Who tends the police park playground for mowing, tree maintenance, and litter? That's a good question. Who does? Is it Vector? Is it police? Is it park? I will find out. So right now, for the last, I don't know, Amber, has it been a month that you guys been meeting weekly now about mowing and
Yeah, it's been a month.
so we have a standing meeting now weekly with the different departments focused on, we spend a lot of money, and I don't think people realize this, on planters, mowing, with different contracts. We have Vector. We have the park doing some mowing. We have the sanitary district. So they've been meeting weekly right now to come up with a game plan. What is the most efficient way of keeping, all of our properties mowed, right-of-ways mowed, our ditches cleaned? What does that look like? So they're coming up with a plan now, but they've been meeting weekly now for the last month. And so more to come on that, hopefully. Where did Marty go? Who takes care of the park down there? Who takes care of the park behind y'all?
Part, our maintenance staff does.
Well, it sounds like y'all ain't doing a good job. No, I'm just playing.
So, we were down maintenance staff.
Okay, that's right. That's true. Okay. So we will get on that.
We were full complement.
That's right. Right.
But also this year, Vector's been helping do it.
Okay, good. So we'll take care of it. Patriot Park. I don't know a whole lot about Patriot Park right now. Patriot Park is underutilized with a significant investment in facility could result in revenue generated for the city. Cities like Crown Point, Joliet, a whole bunch of them have very successful programs. And our city has much more to offer with the infrastructure. I-94 and 8090 is excellent. The drainage issue. I feel like this drainage issue has gone back to, I was on the city council in 2008, and I feel like we've been dealing with it. Have we been dealing with a drainage issue that long? So I don't know. Have we had any discussions about the drainage recently?
Discussed it on a monthly basis. It's been really bad the past several years. So the soccer field, a lot of them are out of water, we have lack of parking out there.
So I'll repeat what she's saying, and then what I'll do, this is be something that we will discuss, and I'll get some updates. But the parking has been an issue. I know the soccer fields. I used to coach out there, so we'll follow up on this a little bit more to give more information to the public on Patriot Park. I almost always forget about Patriot Park because my kids are grown, and I don't coach anymore. And I haven't been out there, so we will definitely take a look. Do we have any plans to add any additional inspectors and more inspectors for commercial roofing installation? So, good news in that regard. So we did hire Dave Albers to come on to our team to help us build the building inspection department. I reached out late December to the local building trades, and they've helped identify some new retirees that would be interested in working part-time for us to do inspections. So he is going to help us hire some part-time inspectors for HVAC, plumbing. I think that's the best way to go. I think having a full complement of inspectors that are available and ready, because retirees, the good thing about retirees, I don't have to pay for the benefits. So, and they want to stay busy and they want to help. These are local Michigan City folks, LaPorte County people, but they've been doing the job for many years, a lot of experience, and I think this is a good opportunity for Michigan City to do something creative. So that is a new department. We have a building superintendent position that's brand new. Dave right now, Albers, is kind of filling that role in a contractual way for the next couple of months to help us build that before construction season starts. So I think it's important that we have seasoned inspectors. So that's what we're looking to do to support Sue in that department. Massage parlors. Man, I've seen so many posts about that. First of all, most of those are in Trail Creek. They're not in Michigan. No, just playing.
Nice.
So let me say this. We are following proper procedures in dealing with massage parlors. Let me say that. That's all I can say right now, but we are doing some things. But, someone said, well, you're the massage parlor of the capital of... I said, listen, we have several that are legitimate. If you want to count Blue Chip and them, fine. But they are opening up, but we are watching. And we are... We're watching. That's all I can say right now. Don't want to mess anything up. What plan, vision, or initiative exists to better and safely connect downtown, uptown, district, Michigan Boulevard corridor, and a lakefront for pedestrians, bicyclists, particularly regarding Highway 12 corridor? Corridor death. So that's a lot. So let me start with connectivity. So Michigan City was a part of a successful grant, Gift Aid, the Lilly Gift Aid grant. So we're $4 million, and it's really about connectivity to the trails. But what that does, it also supports that Pine Street corridor. So what we're looking at with Pine Street is to really use that as a corridor to the national park, to our lakefront, to the trail, what that looks like. The goal is to make it more pedestrian and bicycle friendly. We're putting tandem bikes in for the downtown area. Entrepreneurs, probably a good opportunity to think about transportation. I know we have Joyride, but in the summertime, we know we have about 10 million visitors throughout the year. Good time to look at transportation opportunities. But so the trail is taking some time, but we're getting there. Shannon has done a great job in working through that, because money is coming. It's federal money that we've been using, but also state money for these projects. So more to come on that. It says Lakefront Washington, Highway 12. Our city engineer isn't here. He couldn't be here today, but I know that there is a Highway 12 project that is occurring, because as you come around from the west side, that's a dangerous area. And so I know that's a part of that plan in correcting that. So I will follow up on the Highway 12 piece of that. Where are we with the rejuvenation of Michigan Boulevard? So in 2023, the redevelopment commission connected the TIFs so that now Michigan Boulevard is included. So one of the things that is now available to Michigan Boulevard businesses or people who are interested in developing there is, number one, TIF money, but number two, a facade program. So now businesses, I know they just approved, I don't know if it's one or two on Michigan Boulevard. Yeah, there was one on Michigan Boulevard that was approved, but the facade program has always been on the North Franklin Street area. Now it's available down Michigan Boulevard. So this is an opportunity for local businesses or someone who's going to build or do something to use TIF dollars to help with their projects. It's a funding mechanism that will be available to them. So that's new for Michigan Boulevard. I grew up on the east side. I worked at Hooks. I worked at Harvey's. I worked at Kentucky Fried Chicken growing up. And, there was so much that was there that is lost now. We had a bank. We had Perry's Bakery. Now we have Ace Hardware that's back. That was a part of Harvey's. So now we just need a grocery store.
You're getting a grant there too.
Where?
Are you getting a $2 million grant? We just $400,000 for Michigan Boulevard. I thought it was to
I don't remember.
springboard a grant.
Well, well, we're writing grants. They ain't saying that we got them. But the other thing is we do have a Safe Streets grant. We did receive that money. But as you all know and may have seen in the national news, there was a freeze all of a sudden and we were frantic. We went through an exercise that day of panic where I was telling everybody, turn in your receipts now. Get everything turned in, before 5 o'clock so we can get our money. So we're still unsure and unclear of where we are from a national perspective on those funds that we already were granted. So, but we do have a Safe Streets grant, and Michigan Boulevard is part of that. Are you in favor of a city void of plastics? I've never thought about it. So I wouldn't say yes or no on that. I'm probably neutral, but hadn't talked about it or thought about it. One of the things, though, that Councilman Privileski and I have talked about, though, is doing more education around recycling, because I have 2 recycle bins. Oh, also, so that if you need a second one, you can call them, they'll bring you one. I think if we spent more time educating people on recycling, we wouldn't have so much trash. But I think that people are putting trash in their recycle bins. So we again are looking for ways to educate the public on recycling because that benefits all of us. It does. Can you consider equipping some heavier police vehicles with snow blades? I don't know. I don't know. Based on their driving, no, I'm just playing. I would say no, and no. What we have done is we did rent some additional vehicles for snow plowing this year, and of course no, I won't say that. I won't say that because this weekend we're expecting snow multiple days. So let me say this to the public. Our team worked hard to create a emergency plan this year. Last year, when we had the event that happened, we were scrambling. Everybody's trying to do a little bit of everything to help, but not in a cohesive way. So now, I know it was presented at the last council meeting, our SWET team, our severe weather emergency team, I like it. It really gives ownership to the different departments to do what they need to do. Last year, when we were going through the process, and I would call, I think I had them more in a panic by the questions I was asking. I was like, well, who's doing this? How many people are working? How many trucks are down? Who's off today? Who's coming in? And it was just, I think I was overwhelming them with the questions that I thought they should know, right? And that's when I realized we need to have a plan around emergency events of weather. So now they have zones. Vector handles this, refuse handles this, the park handles this, street handles this, and I think now, based on the level of emergency, and I already, had that conversation today. I said, look, we're talking multi-days. Are we prepared? Who's coming in this weekend? Who do we have on standby? Those are the questions that I asked today for the weather event on Saturday and Sunday. I need to know who's coming to work, who's going to be ready, how many plows, do we have any plows down, do we need to get a backup? And those are the questions that I ask, so that we're prepared. So I will say this, that I think our team did a wonderful job today, last night, and this morning. Regardless of what people say, our team is out there working hard, but they have to work the plan. We have to work the plan. A lot of times we spend more energy because someone thinks they scream the loudest that we're going to just go run over there and do it. That's so inefficient. I'm telling them, create the plan, let's work the plan, let's see if the plan works, and if it doesn't, we'll fix it. But we have to take the time to really work the plan to make sure it works first, and then we'll tweak it as we go along. So this weekend may be a test. I hope it passes by, but it may be a test, but I'm proud of the work that our folks do. Let's see. What if your trash does not fit in the can?
Christmas trees.
So everyone is eligible for 2 toters. I know we started going through a process of identifying apartment complexes that need to get their own dumpsters or give us back some of the cans that toters that they have. And I know they're working with some of the apartment complexes now. But man, if you fill up more than 2 toters, that's a lot of garbage.
You can't get a second toter because they don't have toters.
I'll get you one.
No, you call and that's what the message says. We're sorry, but the city.
Well, we collected a few already, so you must be on the list. I know her, y'all. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. She's on the
For
list.
the general public.
I know you are.
So, because the website says you can set a plastic bag so long as it's not too heavy next to the can. The material here says we are not picking up plastic bags.
No, we're not.
Next to the can. So what is the person to do if it doesn't fit in the can?
Make it fit.
Where's Chris at? Is Chris out there? Oh, here he comes. What did he say?
One of our bandits did recycle.
So,
You need to recycle more, which I do too.
yeah, so what I would say is, I know we probably only got about, what, 25 toters?
Maybe.
We probably got about 25.
Collected a few, we got a few more coming in, and so a lot of times what happens is people toters either get moved down the alley, or somebody takes them, or a neighbor sees somebody move out, so they go snatch their toter, but every toter is registered to an address. So we can go check, I'll go check down the alley, see where the toter is, and if not, you know, there's people who have 3 toters, and we go to the residents and let them know, hey, you only have 2, you gotta take one back from you, and then I can use that to kind of replace and help people out who have short.
So what I would suggest, even with the toters then, so do we have a list of people that are on the list for the toters now?
There is a list.
Okay, so we're pulling toters in, so hopefully we'll get those out. And then we eventually will have to go to the council to order some more. But we ordered, I don't know how much we spent, a couple of hundred G's a couple of years ago and bought a bunch of toters. And now they're gone already, so,
A lot of them got damaged, and what happened was we filed a claim with the company, and some of them were so old.
that we can't get them replaced. So now we have a process, because before, we didn't realize we had a warehouse full of damaged toters. Like, how many? 100?
It was like 300-400.
300. Right. And nothing was done with them. We just realized this. So this has been over the last, since we probably started them, like in 2010, something like that. So we're hauling, and we've already met with the recycle district, the LaPorte County solid waste district to recycle the toters so that we can get them out. And we only realized we could replace only 15 of them. But now that we know there's a process, as we get broken ones, we can replace them in real time. But that hadn't happened. So we have years worth of toters that have been just sitting in a warehouse. But they will be gone soon. But hopefully we can start getting toters in, and we'll reevaluate purchasing some more. What can we do to get a dog park in the city? Residents and tourists would both benefit. I will have to talk this over with the park department, but we have not discussed it. And I have a dog, and I didn't know you can take the dog to Washington Park. I had to tell my husband, you can't bring him out here. So I think it's a thing. I know it's a thing. So I will follow up on that one specifically. Okay, road safety, speeding, Johnson Road. Well, that's not Michigan City. That's Trail Creek in the county, but still, we need to. I think speeding throughout the city right now is a problem.
Countrywide.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Johnson Road isn't ours. And school system, we don't have any authority over the school system. But I will, anything that's outside of my jurisdiction, I will forward those issues over to Trail Creek, Jenny Heath, and then with the school system to Dr. Wendell McCollum. Yeah. Let's see. Any plans in the works for a merger with the town of Potawatomi Park, Trail Creek, or Long Beach? I wish. Let me say this. You know, one of the bills, some of the bills that are on the table right now, on the Senate side, every year budget they bring up annexation. And it really gets no legs. On the House side right now, there's a bill that's kind of gaining some momentum. Just understand, most of the representatives in the state house don't live in cities. They live in the county. And we are working on an annexation plan for Michigan City, because we have to be smart about growth, but we also have to be smart about providing services outside of Michigan City. If we're going to provide services outside of Michigan City, they should consider being a Michigan City resident. Period. As things get tighter, as money gets slim, we have to provide services to our residents. And I understand that people want our sewer and water. Well, they're going to have to pay for it or become a part of the city. I'll move on. Let's see. For wintertime activities, it is time for the city to investigate. I love this because I want it. An ice skating rink and a sledding hill area. We are looking at some opportunities for that for next winter. You got Terry Greetham out there, talk to him. No, I'm just playing. But I would love to have one. And I think we should have one. I think we have enough corporations in Michigan City. I was giving someone a hard time because they supported putting one somewhere else. And I think we could do it. I think it's doable in Michigan City. So hopefully for next holiday season, you'll have more lights on Franklin Street. We'll have an ice skating rink and all that good stuff. So that is a long-term goal. So we're doing pretty good. We got about 15 more minutes.
Tell them how you cut the budget, because that's a big deal.
Well, so this year, so right now, the House Bill 1448 I was talking about it's a $5.7 million that's owed to us from lost revenue from gaming funds that Gary received. They received Michigan City's portion and they received East Chicago's portion. And House Bill 48 was a way to allow us to get our money back over the course of 4 years. So coming into office, one of the things that was important is that we really looked at our finances. And looking back over the last several years, we realized that our revenue from Riverboat has been declining significantly. We're getting about $8.5 million in revenue from the Riverboat wagering. Boyd Gaming, we used to get anywhere, 8.5-ish, but we used to get anywhere from $10 to $14 million. And we still were budgeting about $10 million, even though we've been getting 8.5 or less. Boyd Gaming is another fund. That fund is where, we take care of the zoo, economic development, some other things. And typically we were getting anywhere from $400 to $1 million in Boyd Gaming. Last couple of years we've been getting $50,000, but budgeting $400,000. So the council, I thank the council because they've really leaned into understanding, where we're at financially. So the good thing is we're not in a bind, but we really had to evaluate what our budget looked like. So from, I think the 2024 budget was somewhere around $73 million that was proposed. This year's budget, my first budget, we came in around $67 million. And what we really looked at is a lot of times we get lazy. And when I say we, I mean business, municipalities, we just roll over the budgets we've always had. We add 10%, we add 10%, we add 10%, and we really don't evaluate what we've spent. So we spent the time really looking through the budget. It's a tight budget, but I thought it was important that we scale back and then we figure it out as we go. If we need to increase it, we can. It still can happen, but I really wanted us to take the effort to really identify where we could cut things and look at it. And if we need to increase it, we will. That's the way I see it. We can always go up. But when you give someone a budget, and I'm guilty of it, I've been guilty of it. You give me a budget, I'm going to try to spend it all. I mean, that's what we do. I mean, because you feel like if you don't spend it, you're going to lose it. And I will tell you, when I was in a previous job, I took all my peers' money. I would spend mine up so fast, and I'm like, you haven't spent your money. I can help you. And I think we just got to get into a space where we are frugal with the taxpayer dollars. We receive about $29 million of our $67 million budget comes from our general fund is $29 million property taxes. And then we get few million from refuse, and then we get riverboat. So there's a lot of different dollars, but property tax, because someone said, well, I pay property taxes for my garbage. $29 million does not cover your garbage out of a $60 million budget. So we're trying to be frugal with your money, trying to be better stewards of the money, and really look at other opportunities to support services and figuring that out. So I'm glad we went through the exercise, because with the state doing what it's doing, we're going to have to even be more efficient and thorough about how we do business. So I think I'm glad we did it. And we'll see what happens. Yes, Mr. Dunlap.
There are the communities in this country that are enjoying successful recycling programs, have aggressive educational programs in the schools. The children are the ones who will go home and recycle.
Mm-hmm.
Old folks that want a one-stop shop to get fuel. So I want us to be encouraged to work with the board to include that in their curriculum, teaching young folks about the value, first of all, of living in a clean community, which we owe them if we can't give them anything else. They deserve a clean environment. Going back to your position on taking pictures of eyesores in our community, I would like for you to rethink that. Those pictures become a tool. I took pictures of a house in Willow, south of the tracks. It looks like the devil's mama had an abortion there.
Oh.
And it's a rental property.
Ooh, that was tough. But I agree with you. Let me restate that. We will take pictures, but we won't be posting them, is all I'm saying right now. We do take pictures. We have hundreds of pictures right now. So I agree with you on that. I just don't think I'm going to publicly humiliate anybody at this point. You get one more.
Include me in that process. I have no problem
Okay.
humiliating folks.
He's got a stick.
Particularly those who are renting property. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yes.
I recently found out that the housing authority on the boulevard over Gardens is not senior housing, that it is housing for others too. And there are houses in my community that are part of that housing authority. I think it's still called Level Street.
Mm-hmm.
We have such a crisis for housing. Is housing authority demanded that they can't remodel these buildings or be short on funds? I mean, they're just sitting there.
And she's not here this evening. So there's a new director at the Housing Authority. She'll have a year in April. Spending a lot of time and effort on, they've gone through a lot of directors.
And I did find that out.
You're right.
From watching it on Alco.
Yep. So.
That we are no longer a senior housing, and I was like,
So I will get some updates for you where we're at. We got something. We had a complaint come into the office today that we sent over to the Housing Authority, and so we received some of those. They are a separate entity from the city, but still kind of the board, right? So we're working through that, but we're still trying to allow her some time to build the bench of that team, to figure out where they stand. They own a lot of property, and we know that there's a housing issue around affordable housing. I know that we've been talking about a couple of different projects. So we were part of another Lilly Gift Aid grant. I think they might have sent something out today where Michigan City received some funds. Part of that is around affordable housing and creating opportunities for infill housing around affordable housing. I know we have a meeting coming up with two different developers. One that does leasing to own, which I think is a great opportunity for affordable housing, that someone who's renting it has skin in the game to at least own the home at some point in time. So we're looking for creative solutions around infill housing. We've also had a meeting with some churches that own a lot of property and assisting them. Part of the money could help them with the surveying of the land because they're not developers. So we're looking at some creative ways of doing that as well. I saw a hand over here. Yes, Don, and then
Mayor, did you comment on the end result of the second-class city, third-class city Senate bill that?
Don.
Yeah.
Yes.
On that, let the public know where that's at.
Yeah, so the council, appreciate them, they passed a resolution. There was a Senate bill that was on the table to move Michigan City from a second-class city to a third-class city. So the way the legislation stands right now, a city council can decide on if they would want to move to a third-class city. And this would force us into a third-class city. So basically it's saying that if you're under 32,500 residents, that within so many census, whatever that is, that you will automatically become a third-class city. So there's a couple of differences. And this is what I shared. The difference between, there's only 3 cities in this category, number one. Muncie, East Chicago, and Michigan City. Marion. I said Muncie, but Marion. Marion, East Chicago, and Michigan City. Michigan City is like no other, though. We're a tourist town. We're a lakefront community. We have a lot of people with second homes that aren't included in our population. Our population swells during certain times of the year. I did meet with with the gentleman from the Tourism Bureau that shared some data with us. We have 13.8 million visitors each year in Michigan City. 2.5 million unique visitors in Michigan City each year that visit about 5 times during the course of the year. You divide that by 12 months, our population is not 31,000. It's a lot bigger than what people think. So it died. I think Senator Bohacek, he met with several of us. There was a lot of opposition to it, so he pulled the bill, and so it wasn't heard. So kudos to everybody that wrote letters, that sent letters of support. We appreciate it. The council appreciates it. The resolution, we move forward with the resolution just in case it comes back on the Senate side. So, I mean the House side. So you always want to, it still can come back after break, and show up in another bill. That's why it's important for us to watch those bills. Because what will happen is this week, anything that isn't heard, it dies. But it may show up somewhere else. And when you see the titles, you wouldn't believe what's in the bill. And so it's taken a lot of time and effort to really evaluate and look through those. But AI is our friend. And so it's easier to throw that stuff in there. I do searches on Michigan City. I do searches on different things and really try to see, what impacts the city. So, yes. Before Mr. Wiley, then we're going to come back to you.
Angie, I'll ask you a question. Would it be a good idea to have signs in Michigan City that illustrates no littering, that there will be a fine, and it's a win-win situation for the city and the residents, picking up earth garbage in front of your yard, all kinds of things that you don't even want to talk about. And I would like to know, in a very nice manner, not mad or nothing, why is it that we can't have it? What's the reason?
I think I'm on sign overload. I will say that. I think that signs are not going to stop people from littering. I think until we start reporting people and giving them citations and our community stepping up to stop people from littering, I think the signs are just going to be just signs that either get hit, that we have to replace. I just don't know if that's the effective way to do it. I think having these kind of conversations, having a task force on litter and trash, and maybe there are certain areas that need signs though. I'm not saying that we don't need them, because there's going to be certain places that you're going to have them. I just don't think having them all up and down the streetway is the way to go. But until we start citing folks and catching them and doing that, I mean, we had people on video last year, and time went on. But we have to really take the effort to cite, and that's why we're starting to have these meetings. I talked to the police department. I said, listen, we talked about abandoned vehicles. So we're going to tag all the abandoned vehicles. We're going to tag them all and then give them a timeline. The goal is to educate first. I don't want, to cost people money, but you're making our city look ugly. I mean, that's what it comes down to. So those are the things that are going to be happening as we get into the spring. But we have a list. We've already pulled the list of abandoned vehicles and work with people. We'll talk, do you need help with something? Is there something we can do to help you with this? But we're going to cite, we're going to do warnings first and then move forward from there. Yes, sir.
Well, I want to follow up that question. So there's a house not far from where we live, and they must park 10 or more vehicles out there every day, and then they leave the garbage behind all over. I mean, isn't there a zoning law that says you can't park more than X amount of vehicles in a residential
I don't know.
on a particular?
Depending on how big is your driveway.
Well, I mean, there's
So the driveway for 7 cars.
well, they're parking on every inch of property in front of their house, on the side, and they leave garbage everywhere. And the cars come and go.
Okay.
And then the original question I had, can you educate me a little bit on the second tier and third tier?
Yes, cities. So, second class city has a mayor and 9 council people, 6 wards, 3 at large. You have an elected clerk, but you have an appointed controller. A third class city has 7 council members. They have 5 wards and they have 2 at large. The mayor runs the city council, and there's an elected clerk treasurer. Also, another difference is sanitary district. Thank you, Tommy. A third class city doesn't have a sanitary district like we do. And there's some other nuances, but again, we're not a third class city by any stretch, just based on what type of city we are and the things that we have. But those are the
Does
differences.
that affect dollars that come into the city?
Some of it does, yes. Yes, and I think, everybody's looking for a way to cut costs, but for Michigan City, our council people don't make $40,000, $50,000. We don't pay for benefits for our city council people like other places. I'm not going to say names, but if you want to go look it up, we just don't. So to say that, all this money is going to be saved, it's not.
And we're growing again.
And we're growing. So, yes. Yes, ma'am.
And is the criteria simply population?
It's population. Michigan City used to be that threshold, but in the legislation it says that if once you're a second class, it's up to that city to decide if they want to become a third class. That's the difference, and this was gonna force us to that. So, it's 7:02. I know this is our first one, but again, if you have forms, I really want you to fill those out. If you would like to be on a board and commission, I would love for you to fill those out as well. Take a slip to get the rest of the dates. And again, I will type on, I won't type them. Somebody will type them. But we'll type up all the questions still, even though I got to all of the ones that I have. We'll type the questions up so that people can see what kind of questions are being asked. But also, get to know the department heads. Ask them questions. If you don't get an answer, you can call Kelly. No. No, I'm just kidding. But I appreciate you all coming out today. And hopefully I'll see you at the State of the City and then at the next one as well. But the goal is to do this as often as we can to make sure that people have a voice and that we answer questions and then follow up on anything that we didn't answer. So, yes, ma'am.
The State of the City.
December. March 4th, the day before my birthday. So I wanted to get it out the way. 9 o'clock at Elston Auditorium. Yeah. So we're doing the State of the City that morning. I know the Chamber's hosting, we're doing the State of Business at lunchtime with the Chamber of Commerce. And then that evening, I'll give a smaller update at the City Council meeting. I figured hit it all in one day. So my voice will be gone after that. So thank you all for coming. I appreciate it.